Welcome to the Stickers on the Mic podcast, brought to you by StickerGiant.com, where we talk with our customers about how they started their business, how they're marketing their brand, and how they're growing their company. Without further ado, it's time for the Stickers on the Mic podcast from Sticker Giant. Let's get on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Stickers on the Mic. Andrew with you here once again, and I'm dialing in Miriam Weiskind from Brooklyn from the ZA Report. Miriam, welcome.
Hello, Slice to meet you.
That's right, Slice to meet you too. It has been enjoyable engaging with you and your brand on Instagram through Sticker Giant and our channels, and I just had to reach out and talk to you because you have quite a story. Give us your pizza story before we get to your sticker story. Obviously, your story is pizza. So tell us about the ZA Report.
So the ZA Report is originally, it was a kind of like this pizza review thing I started about 10 years ago because I had my own design company. I specialize in brand strategy and marketing, and I became a freelance art director and took on a side job doing pizza tours in New York City. Quite possibly the cheesiest, best paid hobby on the planet. And I would spend every Friday taking 16 strangers around, teaching them a complete evolution and history of pizza. And the best part was they were taking advice from a girl who's from Ohio. And it's always fun to be like, do you guys really trust me? Because I cut my pizza in squares and they do wedges here in New York. Mm-hmm. So I worked to help build up Scott's Pizza Tours for 8 years. And then I decided that I wanted to pursue pizza a little bit more. And I traded 6 figures for minimum wage and started working in some of my favorite pizzerias in New York in order to learn the craft and the trade and figure out how I could maybe become like a pizza consultant and do pop-ups. I don't know. At the time I was like, sky's the limit. So the first pizzeria to take me under their wings was Paulie G's. He's like, when can you start? Within the first night, I was able to fire up a pie in his 1,000-degree oven. And he's like, I'd like to offer you a paid apprenticeship. And I was like, sold. So with that, I was there for about 2 months. I was leading corporate pizza tours for Scott's Pizza Tours. The pandemic hit. We all got shut down. So a lot of New York, we were stuck inside, told not to go outside. I know we were hit the hardest initially. And I started baking pizzas out of my apartment just to keep myself busy. And then my mom was like, oh, maybe you should like give them away to neighbors. So I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Like to do something good with what I'm doing, because it was too much pizza for me to eat. And I didn't want to blow up to 500 pounds. So I put a menu up in my above the mailboxes and a pizza box that had a message and it said, hey, pizza baking makes me happy. I know a lot of us have lost our jobs. Enjoy a free pizza on me to help make your days a little bit easier. Because most people in the building had either lost their jobs, there was an EMT, there was an elderly woman. So I figured this was my way to help out. And somebody outside of the building was like, well, can I help pay for supplies? Like I'll pay a pie forward. I want to buy the pizza for the elderly woman on first floor every week. And I was like, sure. Other people outside of the building started wanting to see if they could get pizza. And I started documenting everything on Instagram. And I would do these things called Live at 5, where people would just watch me bake pizza from my apartment. And I would say within like 2 months of me doing this, it gained a lot of traction and the New York Times wrote me up. And then I became this coveted speakeasy pizzeria in New York City. So I'm surrounded by like 5 pizzerias. And I would put a little TV stand with 2 folding chairs outside of my apartment. And people could request that table. I gave one group of people that table a night, and everyone would walk by and be like, where is that pizza from? And they're like, the girl in the apartment upstairs. But the whole thing with the pizza is that I gave it away for free to anyone who lost their job, because at the time, a lot of New York was unemployed. First responders and essential workers. I literally was trading pizza with people working at Key Foods in order to get extra amount of cheese, because there's like, only 4 per family. And then anyone who was just feeling depressed. So a lot of people like had a lot of emotional, it's like we all were emotionally very challenged at that time. So I found that giving somebody a free pizza could boost their morale and give them something to look forward to. The Live at 5 that I would stream on Instagram, I found that gave people something to watch. So it was going well. My parents live in Ohio, And my mom had to go to the hospital for a procedure. That was kind of went wonky, had to go back for a major surgery. And at that time, she and my father both came home with COVID. By the time my brothers and sister and I realized that my parents had COVID, because my dad's like, oh, I can't taste peanut butter. And my mom sounded awful. And I'm like, you guys both have COVID. You need to go get tested. But like within that 24-hour period, my mom had to be rushed to the hospital because she couldn't breathe and she was delirious. And she was on a ventilator for 5 weeks. And then COVID she succumbed to it. So it was very hard for us, very hard for me. And during that time, those 5 weeks, I would bake for my dad before all my Live at Fives, just to like give him some hope and distract him. And then on like the actual day that my mom passed, I had 25 pizza pickups and I couldn't cancel. I'm like, nobody knew that day. It was August 21st, 2020. Nobody knew that my mom passed, but I still like made a point to bake all these pizzas. And she would tell me like, you need to give people the pizza. And so I always say, it's like, do good, be good, and to your neighbors. And so every pizza I bake is in honor of my mom. And, you know, she never got to try it, which is hard. Like even when we went home for a funeral, we couldn't go near my dad because he had COVID too. Right. And it was tough. And I waited. I waited and waited. And then finally I was able to drive back to Ohio and bake pizza for my dad for the first time. And he's like, you're not my child. He's like, your mom would be so proud. So I am in the process. Like I've had a lot of good, I say, I don't want to call it fortune in the monetarily speaking, but fortune in gratitude and generosity. I was able to transition out of my apartment into a restaurant that was given to me for 2 days a week, and I could do whatever I want, and sold out every single night I was doing that. And now I am popping up with local businesses just on the weekends doing big events. And I've got a couple hundred people that will line up for pizza 30 minutes before my oven is even on. So I guess the pizza tastes good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and it's funny because like Sicilian pizza, it's like people go nuts over my Sicilian pizza. And I created this viral pizza. It's called the Baby Butter MJ, because at the time, the Michael Jordan documentary is on, and I was sent a very long pan, and I made a red top pizza, and the dimensions were 23 inches. It took 23 hours to make this pizza. And then I went on eBay and bought all these vintage Michael Jordan cards, and people are like, you're insane to give it out with every, hold on, let me grab one. Everyone thinks it's insane that I give them out with every single Michael Jordan pie. So like, this is the cheesy Valentine. So and they're like from 1990. So when people pick up pizza, I'll be like, you know, this is like almost 32 years old. So I have people that would collect them. But so long story short, I'm also doing these out of uni ovens now. And I am now in the process of opening my own pizzeria. And the other really fun fact about what I'm doing, aside from like honoring my mom's memory, is that there are only 7 pizzerias owned by women out of the 2,500 in New York City. And I'm gunning to be number 8. So, and just to be able to bake pizza in a space where people that need a meal can always come, people can pay pies forward, and people can just show up at my pizzeria and they sit down and they get a free meal as an act of kindness from other people. And it's all to honor my mom, because she was a do-gooder. She did so much for her community to help others. And my dad's like, you're a spitting image of her. So, but yeah, I mean, that's my story in a nutshell. And it's still like, I'm still writing chapters but yeah, I discovered you guys through, the restaurant, which is called Number 7. They gave me their space and they had all these really cool stickers. I'm like, where do you get the stickers, man? They're like, Sticker Giant. So these stickers have officially become like this is my box, like one of the most coveted things that people collect. And I don't give them out for free unless you're a child. But it kills me because every kid walks away with them stuck on them, and the adults are like, you're wasting the sticker.
Yeah, that's funny. Because I saw you tagged us on Instagram, and so you're using the stickers to give away to kids right now. Yeah. That's fun.
And then my Kickstarter that I'm launching in 2 weeks. Nice. Every donation is going to get a thank you card. Plus, I have to order more stickers. Cool. Plus a sticker. But yeah, I mean, I'm a huge sticker collector. So for me, when I came up with this design, and the whole thing is like, I'm very cheesy. So the sticker says, have a sliced day. People like instantly light up. They're like, and even like in passing, I'll walk in and I'll say, slice to meet you. And people are like, did she just say that? And then my friends are like, they don't know that you're a pizza person. I was like, it's okay. It's going to stop them in their tracks. But I always tell people, have a slice day. And they're like, yeah, thank you. But it makes them smile. And that's the whole point, is like creating pizza, creating memories, and bringing happiness to people in their lives.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So, how does one, so when it comes especially to Neapolitan pizza, like there's like a very strict certification, like ingredients process, I don't know if you're going down that road. You don't have to do that, of course, right? But that's kind of the style you kind of looks like you're doing as a Neapolitan. I love Sicilian pizza as a Sicilian myself. So I like the thick crust, and I'm from Chicago. So deep dish is my sort of passion. That's my passion, but like you can't really get that out here, and it's all chains. Anyway, enough about my pizza story.
I love deep dish. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's so good.
15 grams of protein in one slice. It's great for recovery if you're an ultra runner.
That's what you said you do. So that probably helps. So you're working with Uni, like you said. You also have other partners. You got Breville, Baking Steel. How did you sort of line up these purveyors to put all this stuff together? Because like it's cool to do good thing and the story's amazing, but at the end of the day too, you're like, I'm running a business now, so you have to have materials and hardware and a plan, and you've got a plan, it sounds like. But how are you going to grow this thing, right? Your marketing obviously is good because you went viral, you got the baby butter MJ, you got good stickers, you got a good Instagram. That following in a year at 16,000 people is a pretty fast growth, right? So what does the growth look like, and how do the partners fit into all that?
So Breville had their PR company had loaned me some ovens, and that's how I was able to transition from like 4 pies a day to 20, because it would take about, like, all said and done, 3 minutes to make a pizza in that oven. And I have 2 of them. So they helped me out with that. And then Uni wrote to me and they're like, we love what you're doing. We're sending you an oven. And I'm like, let's be real. I live in Brooklyn, New York. Do you know what that means? That means that I can't just put an Uni on my fire escape. But I really wanted to work with that company because they represented a lot about, there was a lot of similarities in what we do for our community. Like Uni really encourages home pizza bakers to just give it their best and to have fun and to really, embrace the product. And as a whole, like everyone that I'd met in the company was just really nice, and the core values aligned with mine. So I found a way to make it work where I would book outdoor venues and I could use their ovens, and like my pizza completely transformed. I became like the official Uni speakeasy in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah. So the way that I'm working with and like even the pepperoni. So it's from Columbus, Ohio. I'm from Ohio. Right. And a lot of, every single ingredient and everything I use, there's a reason for it. It's not just arbitrary or because somebody said to do it. So the pepperoni, it's from Columbus, Ohio. And that pepperoni was used on some of my favorite pizzas growing up. And it's a really, really high quality pepperoni. And you only find it some of the top pizzerias in New York City. The owner would ship me boxes of it to use for my, I baked 5,000 pizzas out of my apartment, which is insane because I live in like a tiny, literally this apartment might be 300 square feet. It's tiny. So I should have actually written to Guinness Book of World Records and be like, can I get a world record for the most amount of pizzas baked out of a shoebox in New York City? But so he would send me pepperoni. Partana would give me oil. Stanislaus, which is the tomato company, the rep would drop off boxes to me. So everybody was paying it forward so I could keep giving away free pizzas. Stanislaus was a tomato that was used on my favorite pizza as a kid growing up. Grande, which is a cheese, they were used on my pizza. Leone is a cheese out of New Jersey. Love their cheese. I know them personally. So there was a reason for everything. And even like the way I got my flour when I started was I went to a pizzeria and the owner gave me a clear plastic bag full of flour. And imagine this, like here comes this girl walking down the street carrying a clear plastic bag of white powder. So I was like, El Chapo, or I should be La Chapa, walking down the street with what must have been like 70 kilos of Caputo flour. But there's a story behind everything I'm using. And those are the companies I continue to work with. I am incorporating Breville and Uni into the brick and mortar that I'm opening up because I'm going to offer a home a pizza school for home bakers. So
Nice.
they get a 2-day workshop. One day they learn how to make dough and all the basic fundamentals of pizza making. Second day, they actually get to use the equipment. Because what I found is like the most important thing is showing somebody and letting them use the equipment so that they can then buy it and take it home. But those are brands I'm partnered with them and I'm continuing to support them because I believe in them. So for New Yorkers, electric ovens are great because you can use them indoors. But if you happen to be lucky and you have an outdoor space, that uni oven their Coda 16 is amazing. Like you can fold it up and put it in a closet. I keep one in my car all the time. And then for Sicilian pizza, I use like an old dingy oven and 2 pieces of baking steel in there. Right. And that's the other so those are all companies that I work with because they're really are superior products. And at the end of the day, like we're all a community. So like Breville loves Uni and Uni loves Breville. They do different things, but they support the craft of baking pizza.
Yeah, they're very different. Uni follows me all around Facebook. I've been on this website before.
We need to do some Uni stickers.
Yeah, I like their product. If I could build my outdoor pizza space here in my backyard, they're very compact looking. And
why don't you just go ahead and get one? You need propane. You want to be fancy in Colorado, you could use the wood. Yeah. But like literally, it'll just go. You can slide it under the bed.
Yeah. No, these are very, very cool products. I'm glad to hear you endorse them so highly. We've covered a lot of ground, and rarely I'll have you know that I am not asking very many questions. So
we can
filling in all the blanks here.
And you asked me about VPN certified Neapolitan pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. So my pizza is what I call Neapolitan-ish. So
that's what I saw. That's why I wanted to clarify because I know that I've researched it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Neo and there's Nia.
Yeah.
Neapolitan is like the new age Neapolitan. It's what Americans do in a Neapolitan pizza. I don't believe I need to have a VPN certification to make some of the best pizza in the world. I feel that what makes the good pizza is the quality of the ingredients, the pizza baker, and the love they put into it. So my technique and my craft is a combination of things that you see in Neapolitan pizzerias. But more or less, I have my own styles and techniques. Like I slap the dough open, but I toss it. And if you were VPN certified, you don't toss that dough. But you know what? It makes people smile. So I toss it. Occasionally I drop it. It happens. But so like the shop I'm opening, it's going to have dining. There's going to be table service for the Neapolitan pizza or the Neapolitan-ish. But I'm alternating. So I'll have nights when it's only Sicilian and that's takeout. So we're going to be alternating like the styles you can get. It's not either or both. You have to come in for the night to get that specific type of pizza. And I make these like my Sicilian is like a New York Sicilian with a slight Detroit influence on it. But I do crazy things on these little like 6x6 pans where you'll get like I do Frito pie pizza where I basically recreate the Frito pie on this little 6x6, cut into 6 little bites, and then I put Skyline chili on it, which
I know Skyline chili. You can get out here too, but that's I love Skyline chili.
Yeah. On a pizza though, people are like, wow. And I'm like, just don't look at it before it goes on the pizza, but it's like magic on there.
Oh God, Skyline chili is delicious.
But like I'm doing a pop-up Saturday. I'm teaming up with a bar for Oktoberfest.
Nice.
And they're like, can you do an Oktoberfest pizza? And I was like, are you kidding me? An excuse to use beer cheese? Heck yeah. So I'm doing a round, and this is like every single pop-up, I do a pizza where it's completely different. Like people have never had it before. I just design a new pizza. So this one is going to be, it's the Neapolitan-ish pizza. So it's wood fired. Mm-hmm. It has provolone, and then it has crumbled bratwurst. Post-bake, it gets the sauerkraut, and then they get a little cup of beer cheese to dip their warm crust in. And I'm
That's so fun.
That's Oktoberfest for you.
That's awesome. So you got the Bell Margarita, the Hands Up Pepperoni, the Cheese Hater, the Truffle Amore, the Yum Yum Hawaiian. You've got this off the record, and then you're talking about that Baby Butter MJ one too.
Yeah.
Right? So that then you got the New York cheese, New York pepperoni, and then the pub pie. So there's a lot of options for people too, right?
Yep.
Nutella, even s'mores, cookie monster.
Oh, the s'mores is crazy good.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're able to like keep it classic, but then do these kind of like fashion forward kind of tastes too, whether it's Oktoberfest or s'mores.
Yeah, like last week we did the place I popped up at, they have their their chef is from Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you're going to give me one ingredient and I'm going to create a pizza with it. So she gave me a pulled brisket. It was a Trinidadian pulled brisket. So I put that on a pizza with fresh mozzarella, some pickled garlic, red onions. And then I did jalapeno and then post bake in honor of my dad. I did Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce swirl. And it was a phenomenal pizza.
Nice.
And she's just like, I can't believe you took the brisket and did that with pizza. And I'm like, and then people are like, I can't believe you put brisket on pizza. And I'm like, it's all about magic. But that's one that we call off the record.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you don't have a choice. You have to take what it is. And it only backfired on me in a good way once. Some girl comes to the pop-up and goes, I don't want the off the record that I just saw someone get. And it was the s'mores. So I was like, okay, well, you're kind of limited. And she's like, well, I'll take a vegetarian pizza. So whatever vegetables you have, just put them all on. Now, at the time I was in a restaurant that had just shut down and they were moving. I was still using the space, but there was like nothing in the walk-in. So I said, okay, I'm going to make you a pizza with whatever I find in the walk-in. So the result was, and this is the Ohio in me, I created a classy version of Papa John's pizza. So she got this 6-cheese New York, the 6-cheese New York blend with minced garlic all over it. And then post bake, it got banana peppers all over it. And then I put a cube of cold butter right in the middle. So as it melted, you like dip your crust into it. But it was like, this is like garlic butter at its best. So that's why we call it like the rendition of like Papa John's pizza. And that pizza is now called the Austang because one of my brothers is a huge Mustang fan. His name's Adam. And so kind of like poke fun at him a little bit. And he also loves Papa John's and the pepperoncinis. So that pizza has become his. So like everyone in my family kind of has a nod to them. The cheese hater is now called the Ray Cheese Hater because my sister's name is Rachel and she always asks for no cheese. So, but they all have a little nod to them.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome. So from family start to finish, really, that's really awesome. And, you know, especially in a year that was so hard, you clearly not only created some buzz, but you did some good, right? And I think that's pretty admirable. So thank you, Miriam. And good luck in this pizza journey that you're sort of charting here.
Well, thank you. I'm going to continue to have the Sticker Giant stickers always accessible. They'll be and you know, I get to a point one day where it's like, here's your check and a sticker. It's like stickers are like the best way to promote yourself. So, but I feel fortunate to have found you guys because like it's become such like a huge tool for my marketing. And I recommend you to everybody else now too.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Folks, we say this on the show every time. Every sticker has a story. Today it's Miriam's The ZA Report sticker story. She's given it out to kids who are at the pop-ups in Brooklyn and the various events and the future storefront that you're going to develop. Very exciting growth story for you. And we'll be following closely and good luck as you start the brick and mortar world too, right? So,
yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Good luck from 5,000 pizzas in your shoebox apartment to however many tens of thousands of pizzas to the fans of New York who are excited about your brand. So congrats to you. Thank you, everybody. As always, Andrew, it's my pleasure to be here and share these stories with everybody. Be good to each other, and we'll see you next time.
That wraps up this episode of Stickers on the Mic, brought to you by StickerGiant.com. You can download us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks again for listening to Stickers on the Mic. We'll see you next time.